Hello and welcome back, Squirrel Nation. Today we're diving into another pro gameplay review. This is the Garen Challenger Series, a match between AHQ and SMG. This is game 3 in their match, and it ends up having an interesting pick ban phase. To begin, AHQ, a predominantly Korean team. For some background, they like their poke compositions, and you're going to see that play out in this draft. They start by banning Kriknak Ignis. Ignis is a great poke champion. Kriknak is a great assassin, which is assassin comps do tend to counter poke compositions. Poke compositions are, they want to slowly chip away at your health. So assassins do very good because they can burst down those very squishy poking champions. Lindis is picked up right off the bat for Rush, who is probably the best, if not one of the best, junglers in the entire world. And Rush definitely loves Lindis. So anyways, that begins. The other interesting thing in the bans is Mina is... SMG, you can tell, is starting to ban certain champions they don't want to see. So they got rid of Mina because Mina has great peel, so she does well in poke compositions also. So you can see that SMG is basically targeting bans against AHQ's poke style that they enjoy. SMG also banned another assassin in Richter. So both teams are getting rid of assassins, which makes me think that both of them are going to go towards a more poke composition. I think that's also why Ignis came off the board, because AHQ wanted to take away a really top-tier poke hero. So anyways, things get really interesting here is AHQ opts to go for double marksman, and they get the Valheim. Valheim is actually a very, very good split laner. The reason, or a side laner, split laner, whatever you want to call it, because he does win against most heroes. And actually, the Wonder Woman that SMG is picking up right now, I don't like for that reason, is Valheim is going to win that lane. So with Valheim already on the board, why would you pick a hero that is going to struggle against him in lane? I think that's a bad pick by SMG in this case. Another interesting note so far is Raz and Liliana, both mages that work very well in poke compositions. And one reason I think they're so popular is they work in poke compositions, but they also can work in assassin compositions, because both of them have very good poke skills, but they also can put on that assassin cap and dive in and really burst people down. So that's just kind of an interesting note that you'll notice as you look through a lot of the different drafts and bans throughout Pro Leagues. So anyways, they have the final bans. SMG opts for Zenial and Kresh. Kresh, once again, is kind of like Mina. He does well in poke compositions because he can peel very well with his ultimate, and he has a shield, so he has a lot of utility that can help keep his squishy poke heroes alive. Zenial ban, I don't like as much. That might have been a targeted ban that I'm not aware of, because Zenial does best when he is a off tank, so he does really well when he has a big tank that he can ult in on, or somebody with a lot of health. So far, AHQ has not selected anybody like that, so I don't really know why they're worrying about Zenial that much. Anyways, AHQ's bans are much more interesting to me and more targeted. We already discussed, because both teams are banning assassins and they're not picking them up, that most likely both teams are going for kind of a poke versus poke comp. So I love that AHQ took Violet, who is a top-tier poke hero, off the board. That severely limits SMG's hero pool for their jungler. So now I would expect something more like a Slims or some other heavy auto attack damage jungler. But I love that AHQ is trying to minimize SMG's options. Alice is a great pick. I would also love a Net with this pick because they can make space, and Roxy is another great side lane hero. So Roxy definitely counters Omen, Val definitely counters Wonder Woman. Even if they try to switch, I think no matter what, AHQ is going to win the side lanes, is how I view this comp right now. I really, really think SMG did poorly in their draft so far because they've been drafting into counters. I really don't like the butterfly, because now SMG basically opted for kind of a mixed composition. They're like a little poke, a little dive comp. They're just kind of mixed, whereas AHQ went all in on poke, and I think that is going to help and pay off in this game. So Anyways, overall, Alice is a great support for poke because she can shield to help you disengage or engage. She has her ultimate, which can zone you because it silences the team in CCs. Another reason I don't like the Butterfly is Alice is a counter to Butterfly in my view, because Butterfly requires on the resets to get her ultimates going, and if Alice uses a shield, she can help her team run away, but even more so, she can use her ultimate to silence Butterfly in the middle of combos and mess her up. So anyways, with that, we are diving into the game. This game does kind of go how you would expect. SMG, the red team, needs Butterfly to do very well. Butterfly needs to get fed. Butterfly needs to be able to hop on the squishies of AHQ, the blue team, or else Butterfly is going to become useless the more and more this game rolls on. And the blue team is simply going to keep poking away at red, and red is just not going to have a chance in this game. To me, those are the two ways to look, and we are going to see which of those happens within probably the first 2 to 3 minutes of the game. So basically, if blue goes unharassed and starts building a lead, I don't see any way that red's going to get back in this game. The only way for red to win this game, in my opinion, is for them to start out strong and carry that lead and just snowball to a win before the blue team is able to farm up. Because the blue team also is going to become very, very scary late in the game with the marksmans. And Alice is probably the strongest support late in the game, because her cooldowns become nothing, and she is just a CC, shield, engage, disengage, speed buff, like, monster. So, anyways, poke battle is happening right now. Like we discussed, if you notice, the blue team is winning the poke battle because they went for that poke comp, right? Lindis, their jungler, is a poke hero. Raz, their mid laner, is a poke hero. Whereas on the other side, SMG only has one poke champion, which is Liliana. The rest of them are all melee close-range heroes. So they are going to lose this poke battle. And if you notice, this dragon totally comes down to is health. If you look on the right-hand screen right now, you can see SMG Genji's health is very low. You can notice Liliana's health is kind of chunked away, right? Whereas if you look at AHQ, the blue team's health, you'll notice that Alice is the lowest one, and the only reason she's even low is from eating some of the dragon damage, right? So that's where a poke composition wins the objective fight. A poke composition will lose in a heads-up fight against a hybrid composition like this. So if they go into an early game battle, it is very likely that red will win because of having a Butterfly and having the resets and such, right? But, so blue team, to get an objective, they don't want to fight over the dragon in like a 5v5, a 4v4. They don't want to fight like that because they're not going to win it. A poke team needs to poke your health down, get you low so that you can't challenge the objective, which is what we saw happen perfectly. And for this game, the one other time that this is going to happen is in the future. The next dragon fight, you're going to see this come out. Blue does not poke at red's health, right? So red has the health to go for dragon, and blue simply just gives them the dragon. I think it does end up being a great call to just give them the dragon because, like I said, a completely poke composition like blue is should not go into team fights when health is even. They should only go into team fights when they have a significant health lead that is going to ensure that they win the team fight. So, anyways, we're going to keep seeing this. Another reason I love the Alice in their composition is she is shuttling people around, and by shuttling, I mean she's using her shield to speed boost her teammates to help them gain position, to help them get around the map in good ways. Poor positioning here by Genji gets him caught out, but he does have the ultimate to get back in. Once again, they're poking. This is kind of turning into a team fight, so guess what? The poke team does exactly what they should do, and they say, okay, no, we're going to back out, right? We don't want to get in that huge fight. If you notice, when they isolated Genji, they dove on him, but as soon as SMG collapsed in and we're going for a larger team fight, blue team simply said, okay, no thank you, and they disengaged. That's another great key aspect to a poke composition is the ability to engage and disengage at your will, for your team to control when the fights happen, where the fights happen. So anyways, we discussed Roxy and Valor just winning their lanes flat out. You notice Omen's just getting completely bullied by Roxy, just lost the Spirit Sentinel off of that. And same thing is happening to Wonder Woman. Her tower, if you can notice, is already down to maybe about 15% health because it's just constantly, the lane's constantly getting shoved in by Valheim. That was another thing we discussed in draft I didn't like. So if you notice this time, this is the second dragon. If you look at SMG's health, all of them are pretty high. Omen isn't, but he doesn't count for dragon. He's up in the Darkslayer lane. But if you notice, all of them are virtually full health. AHQ at the same time. Hawk is kind of low. But the team, they don't even want to try, so they don't. So what do they do? Lindis decides to go top, and they're going to pressure the top tower to try to trade it out. Also, because of, while they were getting the dragon, Valheim pushed bottom, and Valheim got the tower. So I love that call. These are the things that make a poke team so successful, or they can also kill a poke team, right? Poke compositions, when played well, I think are extremely hard to beat, and I think that's why Korea and just in general the more the Garen Challenger Series teams just do so well versus EU and America is they just play poke composition so well, and it's these little details that make it so well. They know that to take objectives, they need to be poking their enemies consistently leading up to those objectives. And if they don't successfully poke the enemies like they need to, then they don't go for the objective. And they simply say, okay, we'll take a secondary objective, right? You will see a lot of teams, they'll start to fight over the dragon. They'll be like, oh, okay, well, you know, even though we didn't chip their health down, we're still going to challenge them at this dragon, even though we're a poke comp who shouldn't be doing that. And they end up giving over even more kills than the dragon. But AHQ instead, what do? They say, okay, you know what, we're realistic. We know we're not going to win this dragon, so we're going to take some secondary objectives. So SMG caught up a little bit in gold, but they didn't catch up that much in gold because of the trades. And actually, because they lost two towers, SMG actually fell even more behind, and the map pressure became even worse for them. So anyways, little details. When you're playing these comps, focus on the little details, especially at a high level. Anyways, we're seeing Roxy's power. I mean, look at this. 3-4 enemies collapse on her. She's not dying. Alice comes in, speed boost, zoning ultimate, amazing, which we talked about. If you notice, she did land that on Butterfly and Liliana, which prevented them from unloading a lot of burst damage onto Roxy for that split moment, which kept Roxy going good. Val, look at this pressure. What can Wonder Woman do? Literally, Wonder Woman goes in to do something. Huge, beefy character. Wonder Woman does have good utility, good damage, but she's just simply outranged to Val. And once again, in the draft ban phase, this is where you can just lose, is they picked Wonder Woman after Valheim was already selected, right? You just picked a hero who you know is going to get bullied. So anyways, when you are doing this, especially in solo queue, I don't care if you have 20,000 games on a character. You should not select that character into a counter, right? You're just setting yourself up for a bad game. But anyways, so still going. I think this game from here on basically plays out like you would expect of a poke comp. Blue is just non-stop poking away at red, just death by 1,000 cuts, as I put it in an article the other day. I mean, they're just taking every little advantage, every opportunity. They poke down at red. Red just never really stands a chance in this game, and it just keeps playing out that way. The main things for me that I was watching in this, and I'll kind of highlight before we end here, is once again, it's how to set up objectives, okay? Killing a dragon or killing Darkslayer does not come down to the second the dragon spawned. It's happening a minute before the dragon spawns, 2 minutes before the dragon spawns, right? Successfully taking objectives takes a lot longer than just a couple seconds. It's something that pro teams set up for a very long time. Once again, you look at this team fight happening, it's nothing surprising, right? Red was already low. They've been taking so much chip damage that they're coming into these fights with huge health disparities, right? And then green just simply cleans up. Blue team just simply cleans up on them, because if you saw, like, they had to blow so much just to kill Raz, right? They use multiple flash, they use multiple ultimates just to kill Raz, okay? And then they're out of position against this poke team that's extremely mobile, has disengage abilities out the wazoo, and they just clean up on them. So, anyways, poke comps, if you're playing this in solo queue, and let me kind of convert this from a tournament to solo queue difference. Solo queue, poke comps work well because you play safely. You just keep doing these little things, right? whereas dive comps can require a little more coordination. It's another reason I actually think Alice, I love Alice as a solo queue support, because she can highlight mistakes and she can take a very strong advantage of good situations, because she can speed boost her team around the map, because she can zone with her ultimate, because she provides that shield. Alice just does a lot in a solo queue environment, and I love seeing her pulled into tournament play, where in Valor Series, Alice was very infrequently played. She's definitely fell off, so it's nice to see her. But anyways, once again, they're going for Dragon. If you look at the health bars, right, both teams are pretty even. So guess what? When red positions and looks like they're going to push in, AHQ does the smart thing. They give up on Dragon. They say, forget it. You know, let's poke them down, right? See how they are. Another thing to focus on is how much vision and control of the jungle blue sets, right? Lindis or Alice are always in the enemy jungle, and they're always deep in the enemy jungle brush watching it, right? So they see these rotations happening. I love what they did there with the Dragon. I mean, when they think it's safe, they dive on objectives, just like they dove on the Dark Slayer. When they see a danger, they feel no shame, they have no remorse in just giving it up, right? They had that Dragon half killed before, they just gave it up because, you know what? We haven't poked their health down enough. If they do engage us on this objective, we are going to suffer. So they give it up. You know, a lot of teams get greedy and it ends up costing them. Here, once again, the poke has just become too strong at this point, right? You're just consistently see Alice, and we talked about Alice becomes a beast when she has no cooldowns, just non-stop stuns, ultimates, everything, right? They're just poking. And look at the health bars. Watch the health bars here. This is how you can see what a great poke team is. You will see blue team's health barely goes down, red team's health is just getting crushed, and they're just looking for all these little opportunities. You cut them 1,000 times, and then as soon as, you know, they've bled too much to really put up a good fight against you, you dive in on them and you just take them out. So, anyways, the game is going to just close like this. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Also, turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of my videos when I am posting them. But as always, I hope you all have an outstanding day, happy ranking, and hopefully you can take something you learned today and, you know, have fun on the ladder. So anyways, I will catch you all next time. Take care.